Your headlines, your campus, your voice. Presented by RMU students for RMU students. Join us as RMU Live begins now.
What a difference a few days can make. It was just this weekend that the flakes were flying around our region, but sunny skies seem to have made the return. Good evening, I'm Chris Baginski.
And I'm Casey Folga. We seem to be experiencing an Indian summer here at RMU. How long can we expect this mild trend to stick around? Channing Frampton has a preview of your forecast.
Well, Casey and Chris, it has been quite a bit warmer out there today than what we've been used to for the past week or so. Current temperatures are running at 61 degrees. It's a few degrees above normal for this time of year, and I'm not complaining. I'm sure many of you viewers out there aren't either. I'll have more coming up after the break, including a forecast of your fall foliage outlook. Back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Channing. Today, diversity speaker Chaz Kaleem, the manager for diversity initiatives with the Pittsburgh Pirates, spoke to teachers, students, and guests at the Rodel Chapel. Chaz Kaleem was diagnosed at birth with a rare bone disorder, osteogenesis imperfecta, that causes his bones to break easily. Despite his disability and the necessity of a manual wheelchair, Kaleem has overcome many obstacles. He took some time to speak about his major decision to go to a wheelchair during his lecture today.
I had no knowledge of any of that. I lived what I call an able-bodied life, and that's what all of you are considered, able bodies. I lived an able-bodied life until I was 7. I decided then to be in a wheelchair. The most difficult, but the best decision I've ever made my entire life. You all right now have a very sad look on your face. Trust me, people, I love it.
This week, RMU is focusing on alcohol awareness. Many activities and informational posters are present on campus that display the dangers of alcohol, as well as the support of many here on campus. Mark Coddington has the story.
Alcohol Awareness Week at RMU runs between October 18th to the 24th. To start off the events on Monday, student leaders from all areas on campus took part in a ceremonial proclamation signing outlining the university's goal of drinking responsibly.
Well, it's our hope just to share the information about National Collegiate Alcohol Awareness Week and our efforts to really try to educate all members of the community about underage and excessive alcohol consumption, really, and the dangers thereof.
President DeLomo, the first to sign the proclamation, gave his thoughts behind the message the proclamation presents to the student body.
Well, I think it's a message of education, letting people know that the support of everybody in the university, from the senior administration on down to the students themselves, about the importance of excessive drinking and knowing about excessive drinking. That's really our concern, making sure our students are healthy and safe through their education at the university. And as we talk about the engaged learning content at the university, it's very important that our students not only get educated in the classroom, but outside the classroom. And part of that is just the growing up phase and the role alcohol plays in their lives. We've seen a lot of negative side of that in college campuses. We want to make sure this is a positive side, and this is one step in doing that.
Various events are taking place throughout the week in an effort to inform students about the dangers of not drinking responsibly. Reporting on the Alcohol Awareness Proclamation, Mark Coddington, RMU Live.
Be sure to stop by the gazebo tomorrow from 4:30 until 7 to experience a hands-on demonstration that reinforces the dangers of drinking and driving.
In local news tonight, Steelers kicker Jeff Reed says that he's contesting the charges against him following an incident Sunday night on the north side. Police say that Reed got into a, quote, fighting stance after they tried to issue a citation to tight end Matt Spaeth for urinating in a parking lot. Reed has been charged with simple assault, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and public drunkenness. The Steelers are not commenting on the situation, but have stated that he will play on Sunday against the Vikings. Ed Albert will have the details coming up later in your Sports Pulse.
A local community is voicing its frustration tonight after plans were announced to close an area hospital. Braddock Hospital, a part of the UPMC medical system, is slated to close its doors in late January. The facility currently houses 123 beds and employs more than 600 people, but has faced declining patient numbers in recent years. Braddock Mayor John Fetterman is calling the decision to shut down the facility a very unfortunate development. A community meeting is currently being held with UPMC officials to discuss the planned closing. Coming up next, we'll have the latest on the Balloon Boy incident and some wild weather as the Golden Gate drying out.
What does our weather have in store for us? Channing Frampton has the forecast. It's all next on RMU Live.
Authorities say the Balloon Boy incident was a stunt for attention, and attention is exactly what the family is getting right now. Reporters and photographers swarmed Richard Heen as he drove into his driveway in Fort Collins, Colorado yesterday. On Thursday, Heen and his wife told authorities their 6-year-old son may have floated away in a flying saucer-like balloon. The world watched live as the contraption floated above northern Colorado. Police now say the incident was staged. They plan to file criminal charges against the couple. The Heen's attorney says his clients deserve the presumption of innocence. An industrial fire is sending dark plumes of smoke into the air south of Detroit. A local station reports the blaze broke out this morning at the Great Lakes Steel Plant in Corsi. But Wayne County officials say they aren't sure exactly what facility is burning. Local officials say hazardous material crews and other emergency workers were responding to the scene. No injuries have been reported.
A torrential downpour Monday afternoon overpowered storm drains and caused localized flooding in much of the Bay Area. Heavy rains forced transit officials to temporarily shut down parts of the busy San Francisco Muni Metro system. The storm moved through quickly but left plenty of damage behind. Several roadways, shops, and restaurants were flooded. Better weather is forecast for San Francisco Tuesday as the city cleans up and life gets back to normal. Now, luckily, Casey, not much flooding around here in the region. In fact, it's been quite nice lately.
And I bet Channing Frampton can tell us a little more. Channing?
Well, Casey, I said it before, and I'll say it again. It's very nice outside. Temperatures are running at 61 degrees at this hour here in Moon Township. Our dew point's at 43 degrees Fahrenheit, which is keeping it nice and dry, right around that 51% humidity. It's pretty comfortable outside, so get out, go for a jog, play a game of soccer, throw a frisbee around because, you know, it might not be much longer for this weather to hang around this area. Pressure's at 30.3 inches at this hour, and our winds are out of the north at 7 miles per hour, which is a really great October day to get out and check out some of the leaves that are coming out. Temperatures around the local area are looking like this at this hour. 60 degrees in Beaver Falls, 60 in Bergenstown, as well as in Washington. 61 here in Pittsburgh, a warm spot. Also warm in New Kensington at 61 degrees. Double Nichols in Greensburg, so if you're in Westmoreland County up in the Laurel Highlands, you want to make sure that you're taking a jacket with you because it is a little chillier out there being up on the ridge tops. But for the eastern part of the United States, it looks like this. Temperatures are running about the same for the rest of the country. 59 degrees in Detroit, 61 in Cleveland, 63 in Fort Wayne, warm spot of 65 in Charleston, West Virginia, and a really cool spot up in Erie, 57 degrees near the Great Lakes. Now, for the rest of tonight, it looks like we've got this weather map going here. A cold front's going to be starting to move in towards the northwest, while a stationary front is draped across the Great Plains. So that's going to bring us some warm, dry weather with this high-pressure system that's draped over the eastern half of the country. So we're going to see sunny skies tomorrow throughout the rest of this week and above average temperatures, which is a good sign for after all the snowflakes that the central part of the state experienced last week. But look at this. We've got the fall foliage forecast coming up for, as of the week of October 24th. You can see Pittsburgh's right here. And we've got some moderate leaf coloration beginning to develop across the area. Up in New Hampshire and New York, it's a little darker. But if you take a look out your windows, there are plenty of colors starting to develop on the trees. Now, our forecast for tonight looks like this. We have temperatures going down to about 46 degrees, a little warmer than we've been experiencing for the past week, although we've had that first frost, so you don't have to worry about killing off the plants anymore because they're already dead. A few clouds will be moving into this area, and our almanac for today looks like this. 65 degrees for our actual high, our low is 44. Normals for this time of year, 61 and 41, so as I said before, we're a little bit above normal, hence the Indian summer. Our records for this time of the year, 81 and 20. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow, our forecast is up to a nice 70 degrees. Sounds good, doesn't it? Lots of sunshine, so take the sunglasses to class with you and get out there and enjoy the short weather while you still can, because as we look through the next 2 weeks or so, it's going to get a little bit cooler back around the seasonal temperatures. But the 5-day forecast looks like this. We've got temperatures running right around 68 to 70 degrees throughout the rest of this week. Rain showers will return for this weekend as we dip down to around seasonal temperatures, but overall it should be a nice week. And you know what, folks, I had a nice chance to catch up with some international students that studied abroad recently at the International Celebration of Experiences here at Robert Morris University. So let's take a look at see what some of their stories sound like.
With international experiences and study abroad opportunities abounding here at RMU, the celebration of international experiences showcased some of the students that just got back from destinations across the globe.
I did semester at sea, which is very different from most study abroad programs. What it is, kind of, because a lot of people don't know, is you get on that ship, that's the MV Explorer, you take a semester, you take all of your classes on that ship, and you sail around the world.
Students studied in countries ranging from India to Ireland.
Over there, we went with Dr. Connie Rusick, and she was like our mom on the trip. She was our second. She helped Mr. Vincent out, and she was absolutely fabulous.
On hand for discussion were students from a variety of majors, including hospitality and tourism, along with accounting and media arts.
We're in Switzerland for the rest of the trip. So this is just a specific, when we were in Engelberg, it's a little town that's pretty much in the middle of the mountains. The mountains just come up and surround you.
Many of the students got to experience unique activities while abroad, including feeding Finnish reindeer.
Our five-star hotel here is totally different than what it would be in Europe. And you're wondering, why is the first floor actually the second floor in Europe when here it'd actually be the first floor?
With so many partnerships and new countries being added every year, who knows where Romo, or even a student like yourself, may end up next.
Thanks, Channing. Coming up in sports, the Steelers and the Penguins were both in action, plus the MLB playoffs continue. This and more, but first, these messages.
Impossible. When you open a book, you can explore new lands, meet new friends, and discover new adventures. There are amazing possibilities when you open your mind to reading. You can log onto the Library of Congress website and let the journey begin.
Global warming. Some say irreversible consequences are 30 years away. 30 years? That won't affect me.
At Robert Morris University, individuals matter. And these days, we're about more than business. We're chemists, designers and artists, nurses, future teachers, engineers. Some of us do the evening news, and we're still the best business school around.
Every day we're changing lives at Robert Morris University with active, engaged faculty teaching active, engaged students. Come check out how your world can expand at RMU.
The Pittsburgh Steelers picked up another victory on Sunday afternoon against division rival Cleveland Browns, and it couldn't have been done without leading receiver Hines Ward. Ward had 8 receptions for 159 yards and 1 touchdown, en route to the Steelers' 27-14 victory. Ben Roethlisberger went 23 of 35 for 417 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. The Steelers started the scoring in the second quarter with a Roethlisberger touchdown to Heath Miller, and then a 52-yard strike to Ward for a 14-0 Steelers lead. Then, on the ensuing kickoff, Joshua Cribbs took it to the house for a 98-yard touchdown return. Jeff Reed added a field goal before the half for a 17-7 Steelers lead. Both teams exchanged touchdowns in the third quarter, and Reed would tack on another 3 points in the fourth as the Steelers would roll 27-14. They will take on the undefeated Minnesota Vikings next Sunday at 1 o'clock on Fox. And as mentioned earlier in the show, following the victory against the Browns, Jeff Reed had another run-in with the law. However, head coach Mike Tomlin says that Reed will remain active on the roster and will play this Sunday against the Vikings. This is a different stance for Tomlin, as last year Santonio Holmes was deactivated for marijuana possession charges. Tomlin notes that the change in his position is that Reed's incident took place earlier in the week than did Holmes's, and said the players, quote, have an opportunity to address it. And to the ice we go. The Pittsburgh Penguins were rocking the powder blue third jerseys on Saturday night as they took on the Tampa Bay Lightning. The season has gone remarkably well for the defending champs, as they've only dropped one game so far. How would they do? Let's go to the Igloo to find out. So we'll pick it up here in the first period. The Penguins up 1-0 from a Billy Guerin power play goal. When Sergei Gonchar rips that one from the point, puts the Penguins ahead 2-0. Then Steve Stamkos added a power play goal for the Lightning to pull them within one, but Gonchar again is going to get this one from the point, and it's deflected in right there by Pascal Dupuis. That's his first goal of the season. Penguins now rolling 3-1. And then in the third period here, the cycling is going to begin. Sidney Crosby right behind the net, and look at the pass Captain Crosby makes right to Mike Rupp, and he might look like a big man, but that's a goal scorer's goal. Puts that one behind Antero Niittymaki. And then late here, the Lightning trying to get something together, but Fleury standing tall. He only faced 23 total shots, 10 in the third period, most of them there. And there you see Ryan Malone, former Penguin and hometown hero, is kept off the board. Marc-Andre Fleury improves to 7-0 on the season. The Penguins improved to 7-1 overall, and they play tonight at 7 o'clock against the St. Louis Blues on Versus. And last night, the Major League Baseball playoffs continued with both championship series in action. In the early game, which went rather late, the Los Angeles Angels and the New York Yankees squared off in Game 3 of the ALCS. The game went 11 innings with a 5-4 victory for the Angels to shorten the Yankees' lead to 2-1. In the late game, the defending World Series champion Philadelphia Phillies came from behind against the Los Angeles Dodgers to extend their lead to 3-1 in the NLCS. A Jimmy Rollins double to center field scored Eric Bruntlett and Carlos Ruiz in the bottom of the ninth for a 5-4 victory. Only the ALCS is in action tonight at Angels Stadium as the Angels send out Scott Kazmir and the Yanks enlist the services of CC Sabathia. The first pitch is at 7:57 on Fox. I'm Ed Albert, and that's your Sports Pulse.
Thank you very much, Ed. Well, Penguins were able to at least temporarily break that hex that's on the blue jerseys. And yet again, the Steelers defeat the Browns. You know, we almost come to expect it here in Pittsburgh, but how's it like on your end?
At least they scored, Chris. At least they scored.
So did the Lions last year, Casey. So did the Lions. Well, we'd like to thank the hard-working crew behind the scenes here at RMU Live, as well as Channing Frampton and Ed Albert, our producer Chris Walker. As always, I'm Chris Baginski.
And I'm Casey Folga. Good night.